Welcome everyone to another AZ Ray video. The film I have for you guys today is The Exorcist. Oh yeah. Pretty crazy, right? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Spoiler warning because, we're going to reveal some plot stuff. So yeah, hopefully you guys get some value from this. So before we get into this, I just want to give you guys some backstory. The Exorcist has been around in my life for a long time. Of course, the film came out in 1973, so I don't mean that like I saw it since it came out because I'm not that old. I grew up in the 90s, but kind of funny story about Exorcist. My brothers used to pick on me, and they used to like close me in a room and make me watch the movie, and so it freaked me out as a kid. And I think there's a doorknob right that you can see right here next to me. So yeah, I was that short. I was too short that I couldn't move the doorknob, and so I was basically trapped. If I was a little bit taller, I could have essentially liberated myself, but I couldn't liberate myself because I was short. And that film screwed me up for a lot of years. I grew up a scaredy cat. I'm not a scaredy cat anymore. And there was a little part of me that was always freaked out of watching this film. I was always like, am I ready for this? Is today going to be the day? And, starting this little small YouTube channel, please help it grow, guys. I was thinking, hey, today might be the day. And man, guys, I was nervous. You could hear my heart palpitations, man. If you guys were there, you guys could hear it, man. It was loud. It was like an earthquake. I was like, oh my God. But if anything, it felt serendipitous. I was like, are you serious? This film starts from the perspective of an archaeological dig? Hey, I'm kind of qualified to talk about this. I've been doing archaeology work for a little over 5 years now. So I'm like, yeah, it was pretty crazy. And I recognized a lot of the background. I'm like, well, this is obviously Iraq. You can see a lot of the context looks like how, different, like Babylonian and Assyrian mythology was all around it. And you have, of course, Pazuzu, the king demon of the winds, right? And you have his wife who created various diseases and plagues, and how all those eventually, affect the young lady who gets captured, right? The exorcist lady. How Reagan ultimately gets captured by the Pazuzu statue, right? So I found it very interesting and very perplexing. And yeah, I thought it was cool. Honestly, the intro is great. It's not like your traditional quote unquote horror film. It definitely catches you off guard. But I think the beginning is supposed to be different symbolisms. And although it doesn't really have that much dialogue, I believe there's only about 12 words or 12 lines. It's like not very minimal words. So a lot is left to the viewer's imagination of exactly what happens and transpires in those events when it talks about the Lindau character. I believe that's his name. Father Marin's character, who has, for some reason, an archaeological background. And yeah, it's interesting. And you slowly see this unfold. And this film does a good job, like a good horror movie, and how it's a very real world. And the director did a great job of even just breaking down how, like, the mom, who's this wealthy actress, did everything she could to get all the best help for her daughter, and nothing worked. And I'm sure that must be devastating, right? She took her to various doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists. They did various exams on her, and like nothing worked. And then they resolved, finally, with the help of some good old Catholic priest, And yeah, the priests were interesting. Father Marin, who I alluded to earlier, the older priest, who passes away, and as well as the other priest that passes away, the young Father Karras, or Karras, however you pronounce it, because I believe he's Italian. I thought it was interesting how they made him kind of look like a boxer, and he also had this boxing thing, which was interesting. But I think all those elements were done on purpose, because I think this movie has an underlining message to it. And in my opinion, the message is resilience. Because even Father Merrin's resilient, right? From the beginning of the movie, as he finds this Pazuzu cursed demon amulet thing, to the very end, he did his best. He did his resilience, and he had faith, right? The mother had resilience that she was gonna cure her daughter by any means. She was going to figure this out. And even Father Karras, or even Dr. Karras, because he's also a psychologist, which I found super cool. It kind of reminds me of Arkham Razor, a really cool bishop who's also a famous philosopher and a famous fideist that I like. I consider myself a fideist. I think fideism is cool, separation of logic and faith, but we'll get into fideism in a second. But yeah, it was great. And this resilience, and even like I was saying, Father Karras's resilience was amazing as well, because the guy had to be a fighter, and he was the only person that was able to really have this strong evil deity demon of Pazuzu in him, and control him and control his own body to jump off the building to just end this chaos, right? He was the only one strong enough, right? And had to be a person of strong will and strong mind and strong faith. And that's why he was well equipped for the job, right? He was predestined for the job, right? He was arguably the most resilient character of the film. So I thought that was beautiful and profound. And just a little note on fideism. Fideism is the separation between logic and faith, because, faith within itself isn't a logical thing. You have to have a blind trust and believe in this higher power, or believe that God is essentially love and this energy that connects all things. And you have reason, which is very mathematical. There's a way that it can be explained. Other people can understand it, right? And the obvious examples are like science and math. There's like a linear path to it. So that's why I think fideism is also like a subtle message in the film, but not that it's telling you, hey, you should be fideist, but if anything, it's telling you like, hey, we observed this whole tragedy of this woman's possession through logic and through faith. And film and as well as the book, right, does a good job by saying like, how would we cope with this today, right? How would we fix this today? How would we try to save this little girl? And ultimately, she is saved.
It's just like the doctor said, it's nerves, and that's all, okay?
And I think it's interesting, like how powerful of a film this was, and apparently, like it did a really good job, in like bringing people back to church, which is very interesting. And it's also interesting how like the thing about the cursed amulet also create a cursed environment to the set, which also brings another element to it, which is great. Now comes the rating, right? What would I give this film? I would have to give this movie, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I was going to say 7.9 because I don't think it is for everybody, because it's not. It's kind of freaky, but it's definitely, honestly, it's not as scary as you think it is. I don't think so. Was it scary for someone who was in the 70s? Probably, because at that time it was just like Those were the effects at that time, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, it's so real." Probably, but I'm gonna get it an 8. Give it an 8 because like the film has so much more going on than meets the eye. Like you think it's a story about what the film says, the exorcism, but like I said earlier, it's much deeper than that. There's a story of resilience. There's a story of faith. A story of like overcoming challenges, overcoming obstacles. It's interesting, and like I said earlier, the first like 10 minutes or 7 minutes of it has archaeology, so it even has something for everybody. Honestly, you can even just watch the first 10 minutes and be like, hey, yeah, I watched The Exorcist. I don't know, I'm just kidding, bad joke. But yeah, thank you guys for watching another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please comment below, and yeah, tell me what you guys think. Did you like the film? Did you not like the film? Have you seen the film? Give me your recommendations. Like I always tell you guys, this is your channel. This little small channel is for you. So let me know what you guys are interested in. Thank you so much for your time. And this has been another AZ Ray video.